Hello, and welcome to another episode of the CamerataCast. This is Andres Marquez, your host, as always, in with a bit of a roughed up throat from a show I went to a couple days ago. Just kind of screamed my larynx out for a while. It was a good time. It was a good time, though. And speaking of good times, we are in the house with Dylan Sherry, amazing Americana slash indie artist, all around good person. Why don't you take it away from there, Dylan? Show us what you're
Well,
all about.
well, thank you for first. I mean, thank you very much for having me, man. Yeah, thank you for the kind words. I am grateful that you bring me on for these things and stuff. I love what you're doing, and yeah, I'm grateful to be included. So yeah, thank you very much. Americana indie. I think that sums it up. Yeah, excuse me. Oh God.
No problem. No
But
problem.
yeah, no, no. Grateful to be here, and yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no worries, dude. Yeah, so I mean, I guess we can kind of go a bit in depth into like what you do. You are a musician. I
Mm,
guess first and foremost is that if that's what you consider yourself to be, I guess
mm.
prior to everything else. Yeah.
Yeah, I I know recently haven't been haven't been playing live, which I'm really trying to change. Reaching out to the general booking info email with these venues isn't doing the trick though. So I think I got to change my approach for live again.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, so it's been an interesting time trying to get booked now that I want shows again. But yeah, I guess since the pandemic started, I've been more of a focus on recording. So more of a I don't know, recording artist, I guess. But yeah, no, music's been at the you know been my focus in life really for probably 5 6 years now, and it was in bands and stuff in high school, which is God almost 10 years ago now. Jesus, um,
Almost.
that reunion
Oh no. I'll never
coming up.
go. I will never go.
Yeah, but yeah, no, music's it's I've loved pouring my effort into it, um, and I love the side quests it offers sometimes. Not very monetizable yet, but that's well, what can my expectations really be? It's all because of the passion, baby.
For sure, for sure. When was music ever truly monetizable for like 95% of musicians?
Um, maybe in the 70s,
Perhaps, perhaps.
maybe.
Perhaps for a larger portion. I don't know though. It's
Mm,
always just from what I've read, it's always seemed as though music was like one of those things where it's like if you're lucky, you can get a job like making a bit above minimum wage, making like jingles for some company, like making
right,
advertising
right, yeah.
songs.
You
Um,
damn sellout now.
yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of the thing though. It's like a lot of art is kind of like one of those. It's like those pursuits aren't going to be as immediately financially sustainable as like
Right, right,
getting a career in STEM. And even then, getting a
right,
career in
yeah.
STEM is going to be a long shot because those degrees are getting mighty useless every year.
Yeah, oh
A bit
man.
more.
Yeah, no, my degree is definitely not in STEM, and it has been very useless so far. Yeah, and it sucks because I don't want to be on the side of like, oh, because my family like my dad's side especially are all like people that like taught in college and were professors, like high school, middle school teachers and stuff. So like I never want to be on the side of like saying someone shouldn't pursue higher education, but at the
Oh, for
same time
sure.
I'm like, well, reality is that it's it's not like, oh, Here's copy and paste anymore. Get your degree, get a job. Like, nah, that is way out the window. So yeah,
Yes.
don't wanna say don't do it, but at the same time, like I'm sitting here with a degree, I haven't been able to use it, man. So what can I really
it's
say?
it's the god dang economy. And a whole bunch of other things that kind of intertwine into it. But that,
Right, right.
oh, here it comes. One sec. Oh God, that throat. It
We
feels
all
like
got a
I'm
little
I'm
something.
I've got like wet sand in my throat constantly. It feels
God.
like I really. I'm not sure if it's like actually hurt or if it's just like you're gonna be irritated for a couple more days. I hope
Mm.
it's just the latter.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Well, yeah. So, if you don't mind us jumping into, I suppose, the crux of today's little episode, I've been asking this question of everybody who's been on the cast for the past week or so,
Mm,
um, and it's just something that I've wanted to share with the folks who listen to us every now and then. I want to
mm.
ask, what is it as of late that's been making you happy or excited for life or anything analogous to any of those feelings?
Oh man. Um, damn. I think. Hmm, I don't know if I have a perfect answer for what's made me necessarily God, excuse me, happy per se, but I think something I've really strived to accomplish is like being more level headed with like what comes day to day, and how I can be more content with those things.
For sure.
And I guess accepting that, some things, I don't know, just some things I really want, like, you know, they might not happen, but like it's okay, instead of, I don't know, trying to force something, or, really exert yourself for something that isn't like uh, giving you anything in return.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would say that's happiness, but it's definitely elevated like my normal kind of mood, and my it just made my I don't know, my headspace a little better, just accepting instead of worrying about the outcome, or because I'm more anxious than I let on, and
Hmm.
it prevents me from doing a lot of things, like whether it's like with this live performances and stuff. For a while it's been like, oh, what if like something bad happens, like COVID, or it gets canceled again, like, and it's like these like triggers of it just like prevents me from doing stuff when you should be like, no, like, don't just talk about it, be like a doer, don't be a talker. um and so I think just accepting that, like, hey, what happens will happen. If you like do your best at something and it's just not meant to work out, like, that's okay. And yeah, I don't know, that kind of like acceptance is really like, I don't know, it's starting to get me back, and get my like motivation back, my day to day. I don't know, just level of like, hey, I'm gonna do my best, and try to be good to people that care about me and I care about, and what kind of happens will happen, I guess.
For sure. For sure. No, man.
Yeah, I
That
don't know what else to say.
no. That's great. Honestly, like you know, I feel like we can't all be happy 100% of the time, or even like a small percent of the time.
Mm,
Sometimes there's just so many different things going on in life that keep us away from what we would believe happiness to be. So
mm,
I think it's a good, reasonable, realistic sort of measure to take to just be like, if there are things outside of my control at the moment, or if there are things that I might be overthinking a bit, to just kind of like,
mm,
parse things out so that they don't weigh on your mind as heavily. I think that's
mm,
I don't know. I think that you're right. It's not necessarily happiness, but it's like a good step forward towards a less I guess, diluted sort of mindset.
Mm. Yeah, no, I've noticed that just because I could just sit like somewhere and overthink forever, and it's not that I don't know things aren't serious. It's just I've more so thought that like it's not as like scary or it's not as like big as your kind of anxiety is making you think.
Right, right.
Um, and so yeah, it's kind of tough to be like you know battling battling yourself. Um, but yeah, I've realized it's like no, this is it's like a hurdle, and yeah, no, it's not that things are not serious. It's just they're not as like serious and dramatic as you're when you're overthinking. It's like it seems like the end of the world when it's really not. And
For
so I
sure, for
think
sure.
just separating the overthinking from like the fact of the matter is like that kind of like separation is what I'm really trying to like focus on, I guess.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, what about you though? I mean, what is return the question to you? What has helped you navigate and stay in a good headspace in this time?
Well, to be honest, I think one of the things I've been focusing on a bit more is something that I talked about several days ago with Lola Overa, who is an amazing
Mm.
poet slash zinester, and who is also
Mm.
on our cast on an earlier episode that we'll be releasing soon. But she told me that she kind of keeps track of all like the very small things, the little joys in life, the things that aren't necessarily like huge milestones or tremendous
Mm.
achievements. And that's really helped me kind of get a grip on just like, the daily rituals that I enjoy and the very um just like the things that at first I might have taken for granted, you know, a
Gotcha,
while
gotcha.
back, but I've been realizing are like way more part of my life. Like that
Okay.
show I was telling you on Thursday.
Mm.
Just I was just kind of like thinking to myself, God damn, this is such a fucking good time. It's like I'm hanging
Mm.
out in one of my favorite parts of LA where, I love brick building aesthetics and I love greenery and alleys and all that. And Pasadena
Yeah.
kind of hits all those little notes for me.
Mm.
Um, and of
Absolutely.
course, the music was awesome. Shout outs to the Hashi and to Lotto, who I got to see perform at the Old Town
That's
Pub.
cool.
It was just a really good
Nice.
time. And I wasn't just kind of passively just there. I was like actually in the moment. And I don't know, just
Right, right.
yeah, keeping track of those little things, those small moments that just sort of help define life as unique. That's
Mm.
that was me being over dramatic. Um, but like yeah, just those and like another thing, just to top it off before I completely ramble myself out of here. Just like listening to really chill music while walking. I was listening to this
Mm.
artist I love, Rav, who makes Rav's like a weird like lo-fi indie rapper, and
Oh,
he
okay.
makes a lot of like albums with this other guy, Kill Bill, and they're a part of this whole rap group. But in any case, like it's just perfect walking music. It's perfect music to just kind of like
Mm.
stroll through the streets, because
I
it's
get that.
never
Yeah.
yeah, it's just really like it's never so complex. It's never so like it doesn't draw your attention away too much from what's happening around you. But yeah, those little
Right.
things, those have been the things that have just been kind of like anchoring me to reality and helping me feel a bit more secure about existence as a whole.
Yeah, I think that's a great setup there. I mean, the more I mean, and being at home usually in my comfort zone or wherever, because like I said, I haven't been able to use my degree much. I've realized that the more time I'm on devices and stuff, the more miserable I am.
Oh yeah,
And
same.
so, yeah, so I think you're, no, absolutely. Like what you're saying about valuing the small moments, that it's not just, the notion of like, oh, something's got to be big or monumental. You can like no enjoy this what you have around you, and I think that's a great message to send, and yeah, being like absolutely like enjoy the little moments, and I don't know if I have much insight to offer because I'm still trying to like figure that out myself, and really like enjoy this enjoy the process while I'm thinking like, oh my god, like, is my like music good enough? Where am I gonna go? Am I gonna go nowhere?
Right.
And it's like, well, it's not about like you're not gonna wake up and then you're gonna be huge. It's like you gotta do these little steps, and you gotta like you can't just like do them and act like, oh, I'm only here because I'm trying to make it. It's like, no, that's not genuine. That's not, I don't know. At least me, I couldn't really enjoy what I'm doing if I'm just focused on a bigger, like solely just focus on something massive. It's like, no, I really, I think for me also, it's like, yeah, you got to, find a way to enjoy the process also.
Hell yeah, man. That's what I like to hear. Enjoy the process. Like there's so many people who have been telling me that same thing, and each time it
Mm,
makes it feels a bit more real. It's like
mm,
because when I started doing music with like bands and shit, I was always imagining like the end product, like playing some huge
yeah.
stage, you know, selling out selling out like moderately sized venues and selling
Mm,
enough records to be able to quote unquote make a living. And
right, right.
as much as that would leave me content, or as content as possible regarding other situations in life.
Mm,
As much as I'd feel awesome about that, it's like if I keep focusing on this thing that isn't happening right now, then I'm not
mm,
really enjoying right now, and it takes my focus away from you know both the present moment and the future
yeah,
because
yeah.
they're all interconnected. Like, how am I really supposed to get to this ideal future state if I'm
Mm,
constantly there and not really, taking care of matters that are occurring around me?
yeah, wow. Yeah, I mean, that's been such a, that's been such a, uh, point of contention for me with music. I guess it's been because I've definitely had moments where, yeah, I mean, I'm making that mistake where I'm instead of like even if it's just like a night out with friends, family, whatever, and I'm not really into it. I'm not really like focused, and I don't want to blame music, but it's just more of like what I'm focusing on, And yeah, like you're saying, taking you out of the present and worrying about the future instead of being excited about like what might come. And so yeah, I think we touched on it earlier. I'm just yeah trying to accept that like hey, even if it's probably not going to work out the way it is set up in your mind, but that's okay. And that,
Right.
yeah, acceptance is a huge deal. And I'm saying it like I've already accepted it. I'm really trying, you know, trying
but
to get there.
but even that is a process. It's like you
Yeah.
don't just accept something. You don't just have a certain mindset. You build your way up
Hmm.
to
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
it. Oh gosh. Oh lordy. All right. So yeah, I'm sorry about that. So typically around the end of our casts, we have like a specific, like a little segment where we kind of shout out somebody in our creative community who's been inspiring us as of late, who's been, somebody that we
Gotcha.
enjoy seeing every now and then within the local scene. So if you don't mind, I wanted to ask you if you've got anybody like that who's currently within your social spheres, whatever those are like, if that's even like
Mm.
a word to use. But I also wanted to ask, since we were touching upon specific things that were making us happy, I wanted to
Mm.
ask if there's like also a place, like a place where you
Ooh.
feel comfortable and content, and it could just be your home, but if
Mm.
there's like a coffee shop or a park you like going to, anything like that that just kind of like gives you the good vibe juice. Uh,
Oh man,
yeah,
that's a good
just put it
question.
down.
Dang, that's a good question.
If you'd like, I can
Um,
start.
sure, yeah, no, I want to I want to have a good, have a thought out answer. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. So I'm gonna shout out a couple folks in the local scene. First off, big ups to Moonkill Radio. This dude, uh, I
Mm,
believe it's just one guy, but there's also like a whole ass radio show on Mixcloud that he runs. But in any case, Moonkill Radio Show has been constantly plugging local events and local artists and releases and stuff like that on their Instagram, which is just Moonkill Radio. So if you want like some really rad local shows, if you want updates on like Los Angeles and Orange County artists, that's a very good place to start because this guy is just
hell
putting
yeah.
down like massive promotion for all these folks. And he's got a YouTube channel where he also has like, live performances with people like in there. I think he has like a garage set up with a PA and all that. So he has people
That's
doing like
sick.
live streams as well. The latest one I saw was Speed of Light, who are a really cool um, excuse me, like a
Gotcha.
really cool like grunge band, grunge, post grunge,
Nice.
whatever you might call it. And then shout out to the Hashi, good friends of mine and an amazing band who I've gotten to see this past Thursday at the Old Town Pub. If you're just looking for really fun pop punk slash post grunge, just feel good, dancey, heavy music. It's fun.
Mm,
It's there are a good time.
cool.
Yeah.
I think I'm Moonkill. Oh god. Whoops.
Oh,
Um,
you.
yeah, no, I think I'm going to. I'm definitely going to. I just subscribed to Moonkill Radio on YouTube here. That
Hell
sounds
yeah.
really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
um,
got some amazing stuff in the works right now.
cool, cool. Yeah, no, I love a good DIY kind of setup too, and really like, yeah, it's just so far. That sounds so far from like what is, always on your like Instagram feed and shit. Like I don't know. I'm just so sick of artists and stuff that are like really have or born into like connections and stuff and hide behind like a faux DIY like
Oh,
setup,
for
if you know what I
sure.
mean.
Yeah,
Like
kind of like
so
that industry plant sort of aesthetic, as it
yeah,
were.
absolutely. I'm just like, please. I've muted so many like corporate artists from my entire social media world. I'm like, I'm never. I think that comparison to when I was first joining was like, oh man, these people are doing it. They look so professional. I'm like, yeah, because they already had like, a literal investment into their careers. Of like, you're not gonna be that, so stop trying to match that. It's like find your own
Exactly.
way to do this. And yeah, not to go on a tangent, but it's like I really, yeah, no, always love a garage setup like that. That's awesome. Hell yeah.
Nah, man, like those kinds of tangents, we love to hear it. It's like fucking. Yeah, I have the same exact feeling. I hate just like because it happens a lot now because Instagram has been boosting more like sponsored posts and
Oh
stories and
yeah.
shit. So every now and then I'll get this like because I have the terrible habit of scrolling through Instagram for like a minute straight sometimes.
Mhm.
But then I'll get like a few posts that are from like these artists that are like obviously fucking like it is so doctored their
Yeah.
image. It's just like maybe they are really into it for the art, but it's the fact that I can't
Mhm.
fucking tell. It's the fact that it
Yeah.
feels
Yeah.
so much like that sort of like that magazine esque, like that fucking MTV sort of sheen. It just feels so fake, and it sucks.
Yeah. No, I get you. It's yeah, I think it just really shows like, yeah, the fact that we're not even, a lot of people aren't even making music like for the artists. Like it's, you're making it for the algorithm. And
Yes, yes.
like I can't. it's like I don't want to blame the person though, because some people are like genuinely, you know, they're just like doing their thing. They're just trying to make it, you know, and like
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
how you got to play the game a little bit. Um, so I don't want to like say, oh, if you're catering your content for your followers, you're bad. I don't mean like that. I mean like the just the way that social media has like forced the industry to change.
yeah.
Like, oh my god, yeah, exactly. Oh, boost this post for like $20. Like,
Oh
no,
my
my
god.
goodness, everything's a promotion, and then like they shadow ban you. I'm like, what is this, man? This is the worst timeline. I swear to God.
But like, and then
What
just to
happened?
just to make a distinction, though, just to make a distinction, there are people out there, though, like like the fellows at Moonkill and other people who are promoting people's work just because like that is what you would do if you want to be like a good pillar within your artistic community. And I think
Oh
like
yeah,
those are
definitely.
those are the kinds of folks that we should shout out. It's like Moonkill, and
Hmm.
then there's another person out there, SoCal Punk Shows. I think there's like
Oh,
three.
okay. I think I came across that page.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
and it's a bit more narrow, of course, because it's
Hmm.
about just punk shows in SoCal. But it's the same thing. It's like this guy, he doesn't have any like how do you say monetary incentive to like
Hmm.
share these shows. It's like he's just doing it because it's like if perhaps it's like the reason I like promoting stuff whenever I do. It's because if I were in that position, like it would feel pleasant knowing that people were
Hmm.
sharing my work. So I want to do that to help, the community in the ways I
Yeah,
would feel
yeah.
grateful for. It's like that's the kind of shit that we should root for, not like those fucking bot messages where it's like, "Hey, I saw your music. It's very good. I could help boost your followers." It's like starting at
Yeah,
100 per
yeah,
dollar. It's like,
yeah.
that's like
It's like
the
when
lines are clearly drawn.
absolutely no, you're very right. Like I you know, people say like, oh, this is I mean, the pandemic, and I mean, not to say it isn't still. I, mean, I guess lockdowns more to specify. Um, you know, a lot of venues closed, a lot of things shifted. Like, you know, where you can't like reach certain like people anymore because just different groups take it over and stuff. But you know, it's like that like SoCal punk shows and what you're doing on Camerata, like that is a community, and like that's something that you know you can't just like replicate. That's not, yeah, like you're saying, you know, that is like promotion of like hardworking, honest people, you know, or just like trying to for whatever make music for whatever reason they are, but you know that is like in a world where it's so like you're saying like yeah bot messages and you know everything's so like fake, you know, and shallow. Like what you're doing is, I mean, that's like building a community, and I think that is that'll. I'm glad that that hasn't died, you know, and I don't think it ever will.
Hmm.
But like, yeah, it takes. Yeah, it takes people like you, like SoCal Punksters. You know, I know Showlist LA also does a great promotion for free shows. Um, and yeah, these are like if you're in the know and if you look, like you can really find like great just yeah, community of musicians and people who want to promote these people and like yeah, these are the people that deserve to be promoted, right? Like this is what we should be yeah, like putting out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
It's so
You're
wild
ranting. I'm
though.
just getting sweating over
Oh, same,
here.
same. But maybe that's just because it's like 80 degrees out here, and this is gonna be like the coolest it is for the next week. Maybe that's why. But
Yeah,
no,
it's the valley's nasty, man.
it's one of those hot girl summers. Except I'm not a girl and I'm not hot. I'm just sweaty. In any case. Just to wind things off, not trying to rush anything, but I
No,
did
you're good.
just before we start ranting for 5 more minutes about the state of like the industry, quote unquote. I also wanted to share a place that I feel, very at peace in, a place that I
Mm,
feel just like really it calms my nerves whenever I'm hanging out there, whether it's by myself before a show or if I'm with friends there. There is, I think I talked with you about it before we started recording. There's this little coffee shop in South Pasadena, right on Mission.
mm,
It's called Jones Coffee Roasters, and it is like one of the most adorable little shops that there is. It's
mm.
like it's a two-story coffee shop first off, and that is like one of
Nice.
my jams. I love like second-story seating arrangements because I guess I'm like
Hell yeah.
I'm faux posh like that. I don't know. Um, but it's just so cozy. Like everybody there is typically pretty nice, and it's like the drinks are great. I usually get the chai latte, and it is always delicious. Just
Nice,
that
nice.
neighborhood in general is nice, and then Sundays. I think it's Sunday afternoons. They have an open mic in the little courtyard right outside of the coffee shop, which I don't remember like the names of the people who host it. I
Mm,
will look that up and I'll put it into the description in our, in the YouTube video and in Spotify and all that. But yeah, like if you happen to
nice.
be in the Pasadena area, check out Jones Coffee Roasters, and the neighborhood in general is a really nice walkabout as well.
Jones Coffee Roasters. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that
chill.
sounds good.
It's a nice
Oh, I just
place.
looked it up. There's like multiple locations.
Oh, is there?
Oh, well, at least they have the same name. I would assume. Um, Burbank, Pasadena, South Pass. Interesting. Okay, okay. Yeah, no, I love a good cup of coffee, and I will admit, um, I am like would like risk it all for like a balcony. So a second floor coffee
Yeah.
shop, like whatever that makes me, I don't care. I love it. Like I don't know what connotation it has, but yeah, put me on a second floor balcony, man. Uh,
Oh,
I'll
for sure. I mean,
thrive.
if you're into that, then you would love this place because it's not just like because the second floor it has these big open windows. Like you can
Oh
just kind of like
man.
look out onto the street, and it's right next to the Metro Link, and it's one of those like light rails that isn't
Oh,
like
okay.
it's so like idyllic. It feels like I don't know, not to sound like too much of a fucking dink, but it sounds like one of those or it looks like one of those towns in those fucking Hallmark movies or those like
Uh,
movies those
hell
movies for
yeah.
folks who just enjoy like posh middle class aesthetics.
You know, it's okay to. Uh, you know what? Well, what am I saying? Do what makes you happy, man. If
Exactly. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to drag on anybody who does enjoy that. I'm just saying that's what it feels like. It feels like a nice little town where things are usually quiet and like
yeah, yeah.
it never feels so. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place. I'm starting to lose steam.
No, no, I no, I get you. Like yeah, in Van Nuys over here, it's always like there's always something. It's either loud cars, helicopters flying over, or like sirens. And so having like that's why I just it might be basic, but just like I don't know, just a simple like beach day or just getting out where in summer it's not 100 degrees in the valley, it's like 80 or 75 by the beach. Like
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
just such like even if I'm not like I don't usually swim in the SoCal water anyway, but um, but just that like having that kind of sense of free and kind of like I can separate what like I don't know maybe stresses me out here and I can just have this escape. um and so yeah, like even going for walks for me and even in my neighborhood, if I could just listen to music and like kind of tune everything else out. um Beach is great. I don't need to I'm not that high I don't ask that much, I guess, but Yeah, no, just anything to have that like separation for me, and just kind of like, put those things in the background instead. I think that's really cool. And yeah, like it could be like we're saying, it could be a coffee shop, it could be your own room, like it's where you feel comfortable and I guess secure.
For sure, for sure. All
Oh
right,
god.
I can feel myself beginning to just like wind down. I definitely need a nap. So if
You're
you don't mind,
you're
we're
good, dude.
we're gonna cut it here. Thank you to everybody who's tuning in to listen. This is once again. Ooh,
Oh, it's a
looks like
visitor.
somebody's home. Yeah. I'll make it
Who
quick.
can it be?
This is once again Dylan Sherry. Check out Dylan's music anywhere you can find music. It is very nice for driving and for walking through wooded areas. At least I guess, in my opinion. Yeah,
Appreciate
and
that.
yeah, no worries, no worries.
Oh man,
Um,
yeah, thank you for having me on, man.
yeah, of course, man. And once again, this is Andres Marquez, your host as always. Thank you for tuning in to the CamerataCast. Check out our Instagram for all our upcoming events. We have a whole bunch of live shows and whatnot coming up. So we hope that we can catch you there sometime. Thank you all, and catch you on the flip side.